Hello and welcome to BIDMAS with Cubitt Education. In this lecture you will understand what BIDMAS means and use BIDMAS to work out the answers to questions. So let's go through what BIDMAS actually is. We use BIDMAS when trying to work out answers or when using formula. It is the order in which we do calculations. So BIDMAS actually stands for brackets, indices, which you should have already watched the video on indices and understand what they are now. So they're like powers or roots that come into an equation or formula. Division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So you need to just remember BIDMAS when doing calculations in your exams. So let's look at an example. We have 4 times 3 minus 6 divided by 2. Now this is a really simple example and you will have ones that are more difficult than this, and we'll go through some of the examples as well. So let's look at our BIDMAS. We don't have any brackets, so we don't need to do that. We don't have any indices, we have no powers like squared, cubed, square root or cube root, things like that. But we do have a division. So let's do the division first. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. That is our division there. Okay, and then what I would do is I would write that out on top, like I'd cross it out or put the 3 on top, so I know now that that 3 belongs there. I've then got some multiplication, so I have to do 4 times 3, and 4 times 3 is 12, so I'll just put 12 there. And now what I'm going to do is just write it out again with the minus in there. So we've just got 12 take away 3. Now if we look here, we've got no addition, we've got no subtraction, and we've just got subtraction. So 12 take away 3 is 9. So our actual answer to this question is just 9. Okay, let's move on to a harder example. If you want to pause the video and have a go at this, then you can. The question's there in the top left. Okay, if you pause the video and had a go, let's go through it step by step. First things first, we have some brackets, and it says 7 take away 3 in those brackets, which means we have to do that subtraction first. Even though subtraction comes down here, the brackets overrules it, which means we have to do this bit first. So 7 take away 3 is 4, so we'll put 4 there. And then it says we need to do our indices section, and our indices section is this 2 squared. Okay, that's our indices, these powers or square roots. So 2 squared means 2 times 2, which is 4. So I can change that to 4. And then I'm just going to write it out again because we end up with 4 times 4 plus 4. Okay, I've just written it out so it's just easier to read. We've got no division, and now we can do our multiplication section. 4 times 4 is 16, and then we've just got this add 4 on the end. So 16 add 4. Okay, and now we can move on. We can do the addition. We know there's no subtraction. 16 add 4 is 20. And that's our final answer for the entire thing, 20. Okay, right. Here is an even harder one. Pause the video and have a go if you want to. Okay. So let's look at our list of things to do. So we have brackets. Now, inside our brackets, not only do we have the brackets, we also have an indices bit and an add. That means we must do all of that first because brackets is first, but obviously do the indices first before the addition because that's the order in which they go as well. So even though they're in brackets, still try to follow this if there is more than one thing in the brackets. So 3 squared plus 4. 3 squared is 9, 3 times 3, and then add the 4 on, it gives us 13, so I can change that for 13. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 add 4 is 13. Okay, division, we can move on to our division section, which we don't have. I've just written the whole thing out again, replaced this bit with the 13, so 3 times 13 minus 8. Okay, we have no division. We do have a multiplication. Okay, so we need to do 3 times 13 first. 3 times 13 is 39. We have no addition, and then the last bit is the subtraction, and it's just 39 take away the 8 on the end, which is 31. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I've put a few simple questions here for you to have a go at. So pause the video and have a go, and press play for the answers. Okay, if you've had a go. So the first one then is 11, because 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. The next one is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 take away 3 is 1. The next one is 10. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Don't forget the order. Okay, I won't go through them all because they're all straightforward. So I hope you got them all right. Okay, if there's anything that you think you may have made a mistake on, go back and watch the videos again. This one, must do 4 times 2 first, which is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11, and then 11 squared. The whole thing is squared, so you need to do the indices first. You need to do the brackets first, then square it. 11 times 11 is 121. Okay, 19. And this one, be careful. 3 plus 4 is in the bracket. 3 plus 1, sorry, is in the brackets, which means you need to do it first, giving you 4. 4 squared is 16. And then this is also a times, so that would be 2 times 5 is 10. 16 add 10, 26. Okay, and then this one, 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 3 plus 1 is 4, so 14 squared is 196. Okay, so let's look at a harder example now. So we have a fraction basically, and what you need to do is we'll put our list here to remind us, but in this case we need to treat the top and the bottom as separate questions and then deal with it all at the end, so deal with this fraction part at the end. So first of all, let's look at the top one. We've got 3 times 4, take away 5. So if we look at our list, we've got no brackets, we've got no indices, and we've got no division. So then we can go straight in with the multiplication. Okay, 3 times 4 first is 12. And then we've got no addition, so we can do the subtraction, and it's just this minus 5. So 12 take away 5 is 7. So our fraction starts to look like this. This whole thing has been replaced with our 7 here. Okay, so let's go to the bottom of the fraction. We have no brackets, we have a set of brackets rather on the bottom one, which means we must do this bit first. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, so then we'd end up with 11 plus 3. We've got no indices, no division, no multiplication, and the last bit is our addition. So 11 plus, and then our answer for this, which was 3. So 11 plus 3 is 14. Okay, now that means that we have 7 on the top of our fraction and 14 on the bottom. Now if you don't already know this, 7 is a half of 14, so actually our fraction is equivalent to a half. So you don't need to do a division sum or anything, you can just leave it as a fraction, which is nice. Right, I hope that's understandable. Now here is another one. It's quite nice. Pause the video and have a go at this one. It's okay, it's kind of difficult, but just be careful. Okay, so if you pause the video and had a go, let's go through this step by step. So, brackets. We do have some brackets. And in our brackets, we have this 0.5. So when we multiply by 0.5, so if in this case we're doing 26 times 0.5, 0.5 is equivalent to a half. So we just half this number. Okay, so inside that bracket, we end up with minus 13. Okay, so half of 26 is 13, and because it's a minus in this one, then our answer will be minus. Okay, and the rule to remember is when we multiply a positive by a negative, the answer is negative. Okay, so I'm going to cross that out, and that would become minus 13. Indices, we don't have any indices. Division, no. Multiplication, right, we do have multiplication in there. Okay, we have this times here, minus 2 times minus 13. Okay, so we must be careful, we must multiply the minus 2. It is actually a minus 2, the number, the entire number is minus 2. The minus always belongs to the number it is in front of. So in this case, this minus belongs to this one because it's in front of it. This minus belongs to this one because it's in front of it. Okay, so minus 2 times minus 13 makes 26. Okay, so then all of that can be crossed out and we just end up with a positive 26. Okay, so as you can see, there's no minus here, so it must be positive because we can't just have 10 and then 26. We need to know what to do with it, and because it's a positive number, we can put a plus in front of it. So now we can deal with the final section I've just written out again for us here, 10 plus 26. So the addition comes next. We add them together to give us the square root of 36. 10 add 26 is 36. And don't forget the square root sign. I know it's not in here, but you must do it anyway if it allows you to. The square root of 36 is 6. Okay, so that was a tricky one, so don't worry if you struggled a little bit. Go through the video again if you feel like you need a bit more practice. Okay, I have 3 questions for you here. Press pause, have a go at them, and press play for the answers. Okay, so the first 2 aren't so difficult. You've been doing them like this loads. So the first one's 18 and the second one's 28, and then the third one is 100. So just be careful here because you've got 2 sets of brackets. So the whole thing must be squared. That's what this means. This big bracket here means the whole thing must be squared. So do everything inside first. So 2 cubed would be 8, and then you've got the square root of 25, which is 5, take away 3. So you've got 8 plus 2, essentially, which gives us 10. 10 squared is 100. Okay? I'm just going to go through this one in a bit more detail, just in case you didn't quite understand what I said here. So here's our question. And like I say, you need to do everything squared at the end. So just do everything else first. So the first thing I did was I did 2 cubed, which is 2 times 2 times 2 to give us 8. And then I wrote the whole thing out again. I'm a big fan of writing things out every time I do something. So if I did this part, I'd write it all out again and put the answer to that part in with the rest that I haven't done, because it keeps it clear and stops me from making mistakes. The next section, I'm going to do this indices. This is still classed as an indices, this one, because it's a root. So now the square root of 25 is 5. So now I've got 5 take away 3 in the brackets. So I can get rid of that bracket now and do 5 take away 3, which is 2. So then I end up with 8 plus 2. And then the whole thing must be squared. So it's actually 8, 9, 10. 10 squared is 100. Okay. Right, well done, and thank you so much for using Cubitt Education. I really hope you understood everything in the video, and as I've said before, any problems, email me at info@cubitteducation.com or comment in the course section. Okay, thank you, bye.